Did you know that in the Middle Ages you could buy a piece of the actual cross Jesus was crucified on? Which sounds amazing, until you learn that so many churches sold pieces of the true cross that scholars later joked you could build an entire ship out of them. One cross, enough wood for a ship. The math wasn't mathing, and deep down, everyone kind of knew it. So today, we're looking at the greatest scams of the medieval world, and why 700 years later, you're still falling for the exact same trick. Let's start with the biggest business in medieval Europe. Relics, body parts and belongings of saints. Touch one and you might be healed, blessed, or even fast-tracked to heaven. The problem, demand was infinite. Supply was one skeleton per saint, and medieval merchants solved that problem the medieval way. Yep, they lied. Multiple churches claimed to have the head of John the Baptist. At the same time, when the pilgrims got suspicious, one explanation offered was essentially, well, this one is his skull from when he was younger. And it got even weirder. Vials of Mary's breast milk, feather from the Archangel Gabriel. There were even multiple churches claiming to own the foreskin of Jesus himself. Yes, that was a real market with competitors, but fake relics were just the merchandise. The real professionals sold something you couldn't even see. Meet the pardoner. His product, forgiveness. For a fee, he'd sell you an indulgence, a document reducing your punishment in the afterlife. Now, indulgences were a real church practice, but freelance con men fooled Europe with fake ones, complete with forged seals, and their sale technique was genuinely brilliant. Step 1. Invent the problem. Your dead relatives are suffering right now. Step 2. Make the solution urgent. Every coin you delay is another day they burn. Step 3. Limited time offer. I leave town tomorrow. Chaucer literally wrote a character like this in the 1300s. A pardoner who openly admits his relics are pig bones in a jar and that he doesn't care because the routine works every single time. Fear, urgency, and fake authority. Remember those 3 ingredients. They are going to show up again at the end of this video, probably in your email inbox too. If your soul wasn't for sale, your health was. Enter the traveling quack, a showman who rolled into town, put on an actual performance, and sold miracle cures to the crowd. The premium products, powdered unicorn horn. Kings paid fortunes for it as an antidote to poison. What were they actually buying? Well, it was narwhal tusk. Traders saw the tusks of Arctic whales, shipped them south, and sold them as unicorn horns for many times their weight in, well, anything. And for everyday ailments, there was theriac, a legendary cure, all whose recipe could contain dozens of ingredients, including snake flesh. Real theriac took ages to prepare. Street versions, however, were often just whatever was lying around in a fancy jar. Same sludge, new label, 40 times the price. Well, if that reminds you of certain wellness supplements, hold that thought. But honestly, you didn't need a con artist to get scammed in the Middle Ages. You just needed to go shopping. Ever heard the phrase, buying a pig in a poke? A poke was a sack. Shady sellers would offer a piglet in a sealed sack at a great price. And when you got home, well, you'd open it and find a cat, which, according to a popular story about the phrase, is also where we may have gotten letting the cat out of the bag. Bread bakers were caught bulking loaves with things like chalk and sand, or just making them mysteriously smaller. The punishments got so serious that, as the famous story goes, bakers started throwing in a 13th loaf free to avoid being accused of shorting a dozen. The baker's dozen, not generosity, legal terror. Ale was watered down, wine was improved with additives you don't want to know about, and weights and measures were fiddled so often that towns employed official inspectors, because otherwise literally every scale in the market drifted in the seller's favor. Getting scammed wasn't a risk of medieval shopping, it basically was medieval shopping. And for the biggest fish, for nobles and even kings, there was the alchemist who claimed he could turn cheap metal into gold. He just needed, well, funding, of course. The classic demo, a crucible with a hidden compartment, or a hollow staring rod stuffed with real gold dust sealed with wax. Heat the pot, the wax melts, gold appears. Like magic. The investor's eyes light up and the research grant gets bigger. Then the alchemist needed rare ingredients from abroad, took the money, and of course vanished. Some got caught. Rulers, well, they did not take it very well. Fraudulent alchemists could face spectacular public punishments. A confident founder, a rigged demo, a huge raise, a disappearing act. Well, I'm not saying anything, I'm just drawing it. So, were medieval people stupid? Probably not. That's the uncomfortable part though. Every scam in this video still works today because none of them were about intelligence. They were about emotion. The relic seller sold hope. The pardoner sold fear with a deadline. Today, that's the your account will be suspended in 24 hours tag. The quack sold health shortcuts. Well, hello miracle supplements. The market sheet hid the product. You have bought a pick and a poke every time an online photo didn't match what showed up. And the alchemist promised free money to smart rich people, which is just crypto rug pulls wearing a pointy hat. 700 years of progress, and the scam playbook hasn't changed a single page. Fear, urgency, authority, and hope. If a message hits you with all four at once, well, congratulations, you have just met a pardoner.